Alright guys, so NFL Week 14 is in the books after Monday Night Football last night. So I wanted to jump on here, give you my top 10 NFL teams after Week 14. So we're going to kick it off with number 10 is going to be the Chargers. They ended up beating Miami in LA. Herbert had the offense going. I know the right side of the offensive line is a little beat up, but I like what I saw out of Keenan Allen. I really like what I saw out of Justin Herbert going against Tua. And while Miami seemed a little out of sorts on the offense, their defense did get a little carved up. Herbert did do pretty well carving up the secondary. And the little engine that could to me is Austin Eckler. He had a fantastic game. Keenan Allen had a fantastic game. So getting the win in LA bumps them up into the top 10 in my book. Going with number 9 is going to be the Ravens. Now they were without Lamar Jackson, but still pulled up with a win. Took the dub against the Steelers. Steelers defense has been well. Offense doesn't score all that well, so that may have been it. But without Lamar Jackson, I don't know the final line of that game, but the Ravens pulled it out and looked pretty good doing it. Number 8 is going to be the Vikings. I dropped them after they lost to Detroit. Vegas had them losing to Detroit, so they knew something that we didn't. But the Vikings just didn't look good in that game. Their record's 10-3, so they've won games, but it's almost like a joke around the league. We don't know if the Vikings are a good team or not. So I bumped them down to 8. The record's solid, but they don't look great. I'm not really sure what's going on with that team, but they ended up losing to Detroit in Detroit, so moved them down. On the way of moving down, I have moved the Dolphins down to 7 with the loss to the Chargers. The last 2 weeks, Tua has looked out of sorts, has not looked comfortable in the pocket, and is kind of missing wide open throws. It's not that he's not seeing the receivers. He sees the receivers that are open. He's just not connecting with them as well. Now, the crazy play in that game was Tyreek's Hill fumble recovery after a pile up for 50 yards. So Hill still had points, still produced. But they really need to work on getting Jalen Waddle more involved. I think he only had 3 targets in that game. So that, to me, is an indication of a trending down team. They take an L, and the offense just doesn't look as connected or cohesive. As I've said the last couple of weeks, that offense runs through Tua. Right now, Tua's missing throws. So see if they can get that turned around this coming week. At 6, I've got the Cowboys, who did defeat Houston, but they needed every minute to do it. They were in a battle. Tony Pollard kind of went off and had a great game, but for some reason, Houston was able to put points up on the Cowboys defense, which was very confusing because I've said the Cowboys defense is what keeps them in ball games and is what's going to push them into the playoffs. But they looked rough against Houston, who hasn't really put points outside of Dameon Pierce. They don't really have a great offense. So do have the Cowboys at 6. I dropped them, even though they did win. It was a win against the worst team in the league, and they didn't look good. They were losing going into the fourth quarter. So at 5, I have the 49ers. Brock Purdy looked incredible in that game. It was crazy to me that was his first start after watching Jimmy G get hurt last week. Everybody was kind of like, are they going to do swing passes, get some screens, and lean on CMC? Absolutely not. They did get some quick passes out, got him to Kittle. They did have Deebo Samuel go down in the game as well. But Purdy looked perfectly comfortable in the offense, looked like he was running the offense well. CMC can catch out of the backfield. He can run. He's just an all-around great back. So I do think with Deebo going down, Ayuk, CMC, and Kittle will get more looks. But that team looks incredible. The defense is really good, and as long as everybody that's there now stays healthy, because we don't know the time frame of Deebo Samuel, but Jimmy G is done. So I think it's the Purdy show, and it was Purdy. It was very good. So at 4, I've got the Bills. Super defensive game against the Jets, but they pulled out the 20-12 victory. You look at Josh Allen getting into the end zone, putting his body on the line. I know his coaches are sitting there going, don't take those kind of hits, don't do these things. Dawson Knox got into the end zone, but they Jets defense did keep McKenzie quiet. They kept Diggs quiet for the most part of that game. So kudos to the Jets D. The Bills offense is really good, and they kept them almost wrapped up for most of the game. So kudos to the Jets, but the Bills did end up with that victory. At 3, I've got the Chiefs. Still worried about their defense. They almost made Russell Wilson look good, who has been a complete dumpster fire once he has been in Denver. But yesterday might have been his best game. Now, he lost. Mahomes did make Mahomes magic with that crazy shuffle pass, lob pass. I don't even know what kind of pass it was, but it was insane. That went to McKinnon. McKinnon had a fantastic game in Denver. So I've got them at 3. There are questions on the defense. They didn't really stop Denver's offense. It's just Mahomes' magic keeping them in, and the best tight end in the game in Kelsey. So got them at 3. Number 2 is going to be the Bengals. Again, a massive step up for that defense, only allowing 10 points to the Browns. And Jamar Chase comes back, so now the Chase is back. And Higgins is on the outside. Joe Mixon's having a pretty solid season, so their offense and Houday is definitely Joe Burrow. That guy is the man out there. So I like their offense. I like what they're doing. I love their defense. I don't know anybody on their defense. I just know that they're friggin' good. So I like watching the Bengals. Personally, I kind of like watching the Browns go down too. So that was a 2-for-1 for me. And then at number 1 is absolutely going to be the Eagles. Taking the shot right here. Jalen Hurts is going to win the MVP this year. He looks incredible. That offense looks great. Miles Sanders is running like a madman. Jalen Hurts can throw. He can run. He can leap tall buildings in a single bound this season, as far as I'm concerned. So I have them. They absolutely trounced the Giants. And the Eagles are the real deal. They look for real. With 1 loss on the season, kind of a bad loss, not a great loss team-wise, but they looked awesome. So to me, right now, it's definitely Eagles, Bengals, Chiefs, and we've already seen Bengals, Chiefs play this season. So it's shaping up to be a fantastic playoff season to come for the NFL. A lot of people jockeying for position, a lot of people trying to get in the hunt. The Pats are trying to do that with their win last night. So we'll see, guys, but that is my top 10. Let me know what you think. Who should I throw in the top 10? Who doesn't deserve a top 10 ranking? And leave those in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you guys next week. Happy football. Fam Jam, I'm out.